Hello everyone and welcome. Today we have a Scag Tiger Cub zero turn motor. We have the Kawasaki FVH or FH601 I believe. It's a 19. And here's the oil filter. These are a little dirty, but here's where you put in the oil. And then here's the drain, which is a 10 mil. As you can see down there. And today we're going to be changing the oil on it. What I have fixed down here is there's a little nozzle. I don't know if you can see it right below the screw bolt for the drain plug. And that nozzle opens up when that screw bolt twists left and unlocks. And it goes down. And I have it going down into this, which is held on just by a jack stand, just to give it some sort of, stability while the oil is falling down. So that way it's easy cleanup, and I just twist the cap on, take it to AutoZone for recycling, and boom. So we're going to work on this today. Welcome, enjoy the show. Here is the kit that I purchased. Comes with the oil filter and both quarts of oil for this particular engine. This is the same oil filter that is on here. Once I take this off, I'll show you the code, but pretty much these bottom numbers are what you need to be looking at. I will put a link in the description for the parts. I purchased them on Amazon for about 30 bucks. They weren't too bad. We're gonna go ahead and get the process started. Here we go for the oil change. All right, so the tools you're gonna need, like I said, there's a 10 mil down there for the drain plug. You can either use a wrench or a ratchet, whatever's easiest for you. I use a wrench. And then you either need to pull this off with your hands, and if you cannot, use an oil filter tool to spin it off. But if you don't have an oil filter tool, get a pipe wrench, because we're replacing it anyways, right? All right, so I loosened it up. I'm gonna take note of the oil level before I drain the oil. Looks like it was very low. Cool, so I'm glad we're actually changing it. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the filter now. All right, some of the oil is dripping down into my little contraption, if you will. Here's the oil filter, and dear God, it is dirty. So here are the numbers. You need to take note of that. All right. Oops, made a little mess there. I gotta clean it up. All right. Just gonna put a napkin down there to soak up some of that oil. Gonna clean the area where the oil filter sits. Here's the main filter. Looks like it is a little bit smaller and slightly different code. Yeah. But it does say that it replaces the 710. And that is what this says. So, all right. Looks like the threads are, can't even really see it because old oil is dark. Anyways, what I like to do is I like to kiss the new filter to the old filter. Say, peace out, filter, I'll take it from here, dog. And you just spin this bad boy back on. Looks like it spins on just fine. Tighten it, not too tight, because you don't want to bend the oil filter seal, which could cause it to leak. And that is not what you want. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and drain it. Looks like my contraption down there is catching the oil from the filter, just as designed. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this drain plug real quick. Looks like it needs to be loosened a bit more. That's about a turn. Total, there it is, getting a little loose. See if I can do it with my fingers now. It's not actually dripping. There you go, loosen it more. There you go, it's dripping just a little bit. All right. So I'm gonna let that drain. It's like it's draining pretty slow, to be honest. I'm gonna give it one quick turn over here. Don't wanna go too far. It's going, but it looks like it's slow. We're just gonna kind of let it ride, let it do its thing. Now remember, I know I removed the old oil filter with the pipe wrench, but do not use a pipe wrench to put on the new one. You don't want to puncture any sort of exterior walls on the oil filter. Just for removing. And please be careful, because if you cut too deep, oil will be dripping out of the filter. So just know, this is what I use, but I've used this hundreds of times. Here's the old filter, dirty. Slip that back in the box. We're gonna let that drain a little bit more. Then we're gonna go ahead and fill up with the rest. I'm gonna go grab a funnel. And I got my funnel, just cheap Harbor Freight stuff. Cheap, but great. I don't care if it's flimsy. I just needed to get oil nicely into a small hole. Easy peasy. All right, so this looks like it's still draining. We're gonna give that a minute. We're gonna come back to it. And at that point, I'm gonna seal the drain up, drain plug. Then I'm gonna place the new oil in. I'm gonna use both of these. That came with the kit. Link in the description below on where I got the kit. All right, so for some reason, this thing is still draining. It's been about 10 minutes. But the drain is very small. Like, I feel like if I take that drain plug out a bit more, I might have a tough time putting it back in. So I'm just gonna let it ride. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of force some of this oil out with some new oil, same type, and just kind of see what happens. Because either it was really low on oil, or it's just really having a slow drip. Yeah, and even with the added oil, it's still just dripping slow. So we're just gonna give it a little bit, let it drain a little more, and revisit it before you close it up and put the new oil back in. All right, so it looks like it's done draining. I'm gonna go ahead and close her up down there, even though I like it better when she's open. Dad jokes. Plenty of them. So I'm just hand tightening this. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Obviously, if you're watching this, I hope you know that. And I'm just gonna go ahead and tighten her up because she likes it tight. All right. This is where a ratchet 10mm wrench comes in handy. All right, it's tight. So we have the new filter on. We have the drain plug tight. All the oil has been dispersed into my little contraption container down there. Now it's time to put the new oil back in. Of course, I'm using the oil that came with the kit. And I'm gonna pour them both in. That is part of the kit. And there's one. Now the other. If you're curious about what the oil level is currently, you're more than welcome to take this out, put the dipstick in, and see where it's at. I've done a few of these, so really these 2 quarts is all that it really needs. Alright, and the last one is almost done. Alright, cool. We're going to go ahead and put the dipstick in and see what our levels read. We'll sit right there for a second. Sit that right there. Pull this out and see what we got. Okay. Do not turn cap on threads. Okay. So for correct oil level, do not turn cap on threads. So I'm gonna sit it in. Don't need to turn it. Pull it out. Yeah, it looks good. I don't see any indication on where the oil levels need to be. But I know from the kit and from what they said to put both of them in there. And it looks like oil is present right there on the stick. So we are good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and twist this cap back on, clean it up, make it look nice. And go down here and clean up the mess that I made from the oil filter with this old dirty shirt that I got. Clean it out. All right, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. She's all set. Scag Tiger Cub with the Kawasaki 19.0. Like and subscribe, and watch out for more content.